My name is Diamond. On today, March 2nd, 2022, I will be interviewing Mr. Butler, a Vietnam veteran. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Blaze Butler. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I guess Vietnam veteran. I served in Vietnam and from '69 until '71. I went to Vietnam. I was drafted, and after I was drafted, the draft in. I done 3 tours of Vietnam.
How old were you at the time?
When I went in,
Yes, sir.
I was 50, 50, not 50, 20, I think about 29.
Were you married at the time that you went to war?
No, I wasn't married then. I married after I got out the war and stuff.
What were your opinions about the war when it started?
Well, when I first went over there, I had no opinion, which I was in the draft. And the draft is something like you have to go. You don't have no opinion that you don't want to go and this and that. And there was rebellion about going to Vietnam. But I was drafted and I had to go. And that wasn't, no opinion that if you want to go or if you don't want to go. You have to go. Whenever you drafted, you have to go in the service. And I went in, went in the service. And I stayed in there 3 years. Got me in July. I was drafted. And I didn't come back until '71. I ain't got a chance to see the family or nothing. And within 3 years, because we was overseas.
Did you have any friends, family members, or acquaintance who also served?
Nah, I had a couple in the family served, a couple of nephews and uncles. They went over there and served, but most of them went to Germany because everybody was kind of scared of Vietnam. They were talking about the war and things.
Where did you receive your training?
Huh?
Where did you receive your training?
Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's in Lake Charles. I went to basic training at Fort Polk.
Do you think the training was adequate?
Yep, it was adequate. The training you go through. But Vietnam is called like a jungle war. And the basic training, it was like getting you in shape, shooting guns and things. But when you get over there, it's way different. You're in jungles and stuff.
Do you know anything about Vietnam as a country?
The only thing I know about it, but what I read about it, and what I seen on TV, and everybody was scared of it because it was a war, and you didn't know what you were doing over there, and why you were going over there fighting, and you still, do not know what you're going over there for.
Do you have any opinions about United States involvement in Vietnam at that time?
Well, yeah, I figure we shouldn't have been over there because, them people, the people we were fighting, they wasn't doing us no good, no harm really. Because we was in the jungle and we were fighting over there in their country. We had to do all kind of stuff that we wasn't trained to do. Them people had cities and houses under the ground, man. And we had to go in their country and fight them. And it was hard to do that. They didn't never train us for that.
Right. Okay, so can we talk about your experience during the actual war? What was your first impression of Vietnam?
My impression it wasn't a good impression because you were going to a war. And you were going to fight and kill people. And I don't see no reason why we went over there. We had to kill people that in their own country. We went over there and killing them and things. But I know, you got to kill for to survive. And that's what we had to do mostly. And we didn't know who we were killing or what, because all of them looked alike, all dressed in black, and they'd be walking the streets and just like everybody else over there.
Do you remember your commanding officer?
No, no, I don't remember him. Because, it's hard to remember names, people's names and stuff like that. Yeah.
What were your living conditions like?
The what?
The living conditions.
Ooh, the living condition, it was bad. The living condition, it was bad. We had to live like sand bunkers, we call them. You take sandbags and you put one on one and one on the top, and you ain't had no windows, or you had a little door to go in it. Because you always be fighting and stuff like this. Bombs be coming over there. Sometimes when you're on guard duty, you have to go climb up trees. And just, your whole barracks will be surrounded, but you'll have to climb up in trees and sit up in them trees till morning or whenever your duty is up. And then you come back down and go in your bunk and lay down. And that be what you had to do. Sometimes you had to go out and build holes in ground. We call them foxholes. And you had to stay out there for a couple of nights. It was rough.
Okay, how was the food?
Well, the food was kind of good. Well, it wasn't all that good because you always have soldiers cooking in there and stuff. Call them KP, people in kitchen. And they'll be cooking our food and stuff. And most of it comes over from here. America, we get off and take it over there, for the eat. Now the food over there, it was kind of, we didn't hardly eat it. Because if you're a soldier, you get soldier food. The army sends your food over there. Because they'd be cooking rats, this and that, snakes, all this. That's what they'd be eating off of.
Did you have any contact with family or friends while you were in Vietnam?
No. The only kind of contact, sometimes you'll write a letter. And sometimes you wouldn't even get the letter. The letter wouldn't get out to your parents. That's why I say in 3 years, I ain't had no contact with my family, by being over there. And you always wasn't stationed at one place. Stay in one place at one time. You always were traveling in different villages, this and that. You always be on the move.
What was your daily routine?
Our daily routine, mostly, we'll get up, they'll bring up food, at least we call it a mess hall. We go to the mess hall, we eat, and then we find out our duty, what we have to do, Like I was my 32 Delta. That's a lineman and a lineman communication. That was that was my mostly duty. And you know they had a group of us, call it a platoon, and we'll get our little assignment, and we go out in the boondocks, and we'll put up communication for the ones that coming behind us. And when we finish that, we just come on back to the barracks. We eat, lay down. If you have time to lay down, because there's always something going on. You know, bumming and this and that. Sometimes you don't sleep for 2 or 3 days. Because the incoming, we call it. You know, bumming and this and that, blowing up. So you're never hard for the sleep. It was,
You had something else you wanted to say?
huh?
It was something else you were saying?
I was going to say, it'd be hard for you to sleep or rest. Now, they had things that you call R&R. That's for the rest. Sometimes you'll get a pass to go, and that'd be about 2 weeks. You'll go to Saigon. It's the capital of Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you won't have to do nothing. All you do, you know, get breakfast. You go to something like a hotel,
Okay.
you know, and you get 2 weeks in doing that mostly. After that, you go back to your routine. But most of the white guys, they be getting that. The black guys, we were catching all kind of trouble.
What was your job assignment?
Job assignment?
Yes, sir.
Like I say, I'll go out and I'll hook up line for communication. Like phone when somebody, you know, get in trouble, this and that. They had posters. We had to climb up the posters and hook wires. And then, you know, hook wires for communication. That's most of what I had to do. Yeah. And sometimes it'd be hard, you know, climbing up them posters, and you don't know if you're going to climb back down. Sometimes we had to go get them from down there. You know, the Vietnam, they'll shoot them up there because they be trying to interrupt the communication, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you sustain any injuries or wounds?
Nah, I didn't never.
Were you ever scared or fearful?
Yeah, I really was scared. But by being way over there, it was nothing you could do but had to deal with what you had to deal with. You couldn't run away. You're way over there. So you just had to make the best of what you had and hope you survive.
Did you make any close friends during the war?
Oh, yeah. I had, you know, when you start off in basic training, you have a couple of friends that you be close, and most of them be from the South, like Alabama. I had a couple of them from Alabama, and from Mississippi, and 1 or 2 from New Orleans. We all went to basic training together, and we went overseas together. Now you see me a little group.
What did you do for leisure or fun?
It wasn't no leisure or fun. Like I'm saying, the only thing you had for leisure or fun or something, you going R&R. And that's when you don't have to worry about, you know, if you live or die. But when you go back, you're going back into the jungle, into a war.
Did you witness any racial discretion within your platoon?
Oh yeah, we've done that and a lot of that. And because most of the blacks, see, like I'm saying, you used to have R&R, and the white guys, they get all the good privileges, and we all had to like in our in the kitchen part. Instead of they back there with us, they going off, downtown and stuff. But we had to be in the KP kitchen and thing, cooking and doing this and that. On the back, peeling potatoes. There's sacks of potatoes up here. Wash the dishes and thing after they eat. They had mess halls, but we couldn't go to theirs. We had our own little mess hall. It was in the 60s, see, and they're kind of rough for black soldiers.
Do you feel like relationships among the soldiers changed after the death of Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do members of your platoon regard the Vietnamese?
How they what?
Regard.
How I think of them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were good. I liked them because when we was over there, they always treat, us black people. They always say, number one, black boy. They didn't call us black boy. They say, soldier, you number one. White boys, they no good. And they wasn't telling, they were telling the truth. They treated us good. We done been in villages, and they'll tell us, BC coming, and we are high. And that, when they'll go on by. But if they're white with us, they ain't warn you nothing. But they really liked us, and they treated us good.
What are your thoughts on how the war was handled by the media?
What war?
Your thoughts on how the war as a whole was given, the information was given to the media, to like the news.
Oh no, they didn't treat the war in Vietnam like it was.
Mm-hmm.
The media look like they put it as they portrayed it and stuff. But it was way better than the media. The media, portrayed it and stuff. We had it real bad. But then to say it. Right now, I'm fighting to get all. They had chemical warfare, they call it. Mm-hmm. It's Agent Orange. And everybody who was over in Vietnam, they got sprayed, with a chemical. That's why I'm messed up now. And I believe all the white boys, they done got checks and, paid for that. But we haven't. I know a couple of my partners, they're still fighting to get it. And I'm still fighting to get it. But everybody was sprayed with it. It's a chemical,
Mm-hmm.
And the media know about that. But they still don't want to give you recognition for that. Or give you reward or pay for that.
What was the biggest challenge you experienced during the war?
My big challenge is facing is coming back home. That's most of what I've seen. And they had told us that if you're the only child, we're not going to, draft you or nothing. Right. And I was my mama's only child. And they drafted me into the service.
Okay, so now we're going to go a little into your experience after the war, after you returned home.
Mm-hmm.
How were you treated when you came home?
When I first come home, I was, when you first, it's something like you getting out of prison or something. I had 3 years of fighting over that. And then I come home, and everything looked like you done lost three years of, being without families and stuff. It's hard.
Okay. So, did you ever have any difficulties readjusting to society when you returned?
Well, nah, because I didn't, really get out into society. Mostly when you get out, you get into with families, and you try to get back in with them.
Right.
And it'd be kind of hard, but eventually it comes back to where you left it. You be to miss out on a lot of stuff.
Did you lose any close friends during the war?
Any what?
Close friends.
When I was in the war?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Like I'm saying, when we was in the war and stuff, and you go out and things like this, and some of your friends didn't come back.
Right.
And that'd be hurt you, because that be like families, like families and stuff. Yeah, like you losing a family member.
Right.
Because you got to have friends or somebody, over there.
Do you still keep in touch with the friends that you did make over there?
Nah, because they be spread it out. I guess going back to their families, and
Right.
you don't have no kind of way of contact. Something like, you talking about something like a family reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. I still think of them,
Right.
Yeah, but contact talking,
Did you benefit from the GI Bill?
Nah, I ain't been up for none of them.
Okay. Have you ever joined a veterans group?
No.
Do you ever experience flashbacks?
Nah. Sometimes, I don't know if it be flashback, but look like I'm saying, I get mad sometimes when I done went through like them papers I got for Agent Orange. And I've been trying it since 2003. And I get my daughter, she took off from work to go to New Orleans. But Katrina came through, and they say I was almost, getting the stuff. And I, kept trying to follow up on it, and they say the records got lost, and Katrina, and I believe they said the basement or something. So, and then I just stopped right there. And I'm trying to pick it back up now.
Right.
But see, that been a long time. And then when the last time I got in touch with her, they say you don't need to call down in New Orleans to the main office because we'll get in touch with you. And you'll always be hearing that. We'll get in touch with you. You don't need to, keep writing, worrying up. And now I leave it like that sometimes.
Do you have any regrets?
Regrets? Not, well, I regret that they made us go. And I had to leave my mother and family and stuff for 3 years, and then come back, and you still look like you're fighting a war.
How do you feel about the United States government's handling the POW situation?
How I don't think they're doing a good job, I tell you that. They ain't doing no good job, because I'll be hearing it about people trying to get houses or homes and stuff, and they ain't getting it. They ain't handling the stuff right.
If you were in Vietnam, were you exposed or know someone who was exposed to Agent Orange and its health problems?
Uh, what you mean it caused a problem to me?
Agent Orange.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever visited the Vietnam Veteran Memorial in Washington, D.C.?
No.
Do you think the United States won or lost the Vietnam War?
I think they lost. They lost and a whole lot of lives got lost. Oh, and I still don't know why we're fighting over that. Most wars, you'll know people fighting for oil or this and that. But Vietnam, they just pulled out. It's a war that you'll never know. And that's what everybody be asking you. Why y'all went over there? What y'all fighting for?
Right.
All I see is just fighting for young people to get killed.
Have you ever been back to Vietnam?
No,
Would you like to go back?
I sure would.
You,
Yeah, I would like to go. Not in the wartime, but, you know, just to go back over there.
Right.
Because the people, they really did treated black people right. Better than they get treated over here.
Would you serve for your country again if you were called?
It'll have to be a purpose or something like that, not something like that. And I didn't really serve. I was drafted.
What does Veterans Day mean to you?
Veteran Day means really that I went over and served my country. That's all I see. And I'm a veteran.
What does Memorial Day mean to you?
Memorial Day is about the same as the Veteran Day. It's just, I'm just proud to be, you know, in that birthday, in that day or something.
Were there any lessons you learned that you have been able to carry through life?
I did what? My life.
Any lessons, like, any lessons you learned throughout your experience?
Throughout my life? No, not really. Don't go in no draft. Don't get into that draft.
In your opinion, what should we teach our children today about Vietnam?
My opinion is teach your children about Vietnam is to tell them they hope they'll never go to Vietnam or have to go to Vietnam. I'm talking about in wars and stuff. But otherwise, this is a good place to visit. But for war and stuff,
Are there any books or movies related to Vietnam War or the Vietnam era that you would recommend?
There one movie, the movies is called Platoon. And I believe another one, they're called Hamburger Hill. I believe it's Hamburger Hill. But there were two movies really portrayed Vietnam as it really was, you know.
Was Vietnam worth it?
Raping?
Worth it.
Well, I'll say yeah, and then I'll say no. The no part is the fighting and killing over there. But for the yeah, you learn a lot. You go to another country, and you learn how people, act and how they carry on. It wasn't a country and stuff. It was just a BC, the people trying to take it over. It's something like Russia going on now.
Okay, that is the end of our interview. Thank you so much for your service.
Oh, okay.
We appreciate you.
And thank you.